All right, hello guys. Welcome back to Math Quest. Today what I'm going to show you is how to factor polynomials. Before we get started, though, what do they mean by factoring polynomials? Well, basically, we are going to pull out the greatest common factor. If you remember that, GCF, we're going to pull out the greatest common factor. And once we're done, we essentially are going to write them like this in the format of a binomial being multiplied times another binomial. That's what it means to factor a polynomial. So to start off, one quick reference here in my coefficients and my constant here. So my coefficient here and this one, these are my A and my B, and obviously my constant here is my C. And so to get us started, we're going to multiply A times C. So that's 6 times negative 15. 6 times negative 15 is going to give us a negative 90. Now, I need to get the factors of negative 90. But these two factors, obviously, I know that if I multiply 10 times 9, right, that's going to give me a 90. All I have to do is make one of them negative to get a negative 90. The question is which one? Well, I want to also be able to add them up, and they should equal a positive 1 representing this positive 1x. So in that case, the 9 is going to have to be the negative. So 10 plus a negative 9 is going to give me that positive x. So now, what do we have here? We have 6x squared minus 9 plus 10, and I'm forgetting the x here. This is an x, this is an x, and minus 15, because I'm just bringing that down here. Okay, so that's what we have now. Now at this point, really, we have 6x squared minus 9x plus 10x minus 15. So now we're going to pull out a greatest common factor from each binomial. So notice we have a 6 and a 9. The greatest common factor here is going to be a 3. Actually, this is an x squared and that's an x, so I can pull out a 3x. Okay, 3x. So what we're left with, once we pull out that 3x, basically 6 divided by 3 is 2x, and you can check your answer because you know that 2x times 3x equals 6x squared. Then we have minus 3, and this x, remember we pulled it out, so this is what we have here, and of course that's the 3x that we pulled out, plus, well, here what can we pull out? We have a 10 and a 15. Well, from the 10 and the 15, I know they have in common not a 2 but a 5. They have a 5 in common, so we're going to pull out a 5. So 5, and what's left behind is 2x minus 3. Now at this point, I should know that I'm on the right track, because if you look at this right here is 2x minus 3. Look at the other one. It's 2x minus 3. So I know I'm on the right track. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take this 3x that's outside and combine it with the other number that's outside, the plus 5. So here, because they're both being multiplied times 2x minus 3, let me scroll this up a bit. So 3x, oh, whoa, what's going on? Oh my goodness, don't you love it when technology just, okay, stop it. Technology just doesn't want to work sometimes. All right. Okay. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't act up anymore. So excuse those scribbles. So now we got here, what did I say? Oh, this was a 3x. So the 3x that's outside, combine it with the other number that's outside, the 5, times 2x minus 3. Because if you notice, The 3x is being multiplied times 2x minus 3. The 5 is being multiplied times 2x minus 3. So therefore, I combine those two and multiply all of them by 2x minus 3. And that, at this point, would be my final answer. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, so on this one, we're going to use the same technique. We're going to multiply our a times our c. So therefore, 2 times negative 5 gives me negative 10. The factors of negative 10, well, I know is 10 times 1. That's one set. Notice that once I add them up, my answer has to be negative 9. So one of these has to be negative. And in this case, the 10 is going to be negative 10. So those are the two factors that I'm going to use inside my parentheses. So here we have 2x squared minus 10x. And write one x, or simply just put the x there, x minus 5. Now we'll continue the same pattern as we did before. Let's factor out this first binomial. And notice the 2 and the 10. What do they have in common? They have a 2. They have a 2x actually. So let's pull out the 2x, and we're left with x minus 5. And notice here, the only thing this has in common is a 1. So pull out the 1. I'm left with x minus 5. Once again, take a look. X minus 5, x minus 5. I'm on the right track. So let's take the two outside values, 2x plus 1, and that'll be my first binomial, 2x plus 1. And then the second one is just the x minus 5. And at this point, we're done. Simple enough? I know they get easier as we go on, so make sure you keep practicing these. You know what? Actually, let me throw one more in. Here we go. Now, you might see this one somewhere. Hint, hint, hint. Okay, you might see this one. This is something that's common. Once we start getting to something a little bit more advanced, we're still going to use the same process, so don't worry. We're going to take our 5 times the negative 2, and we're going to get negative 10. Now, I need factors of 10 that when they're added up equal to positive 3. So I know that 2 times 5 equals a positive 10. Well, negative 2 times 5 equals negative 10. And if I add them up, they do equal a positive 3, which is my center number. So I know those are the factors that I'll be working with. So here we go. 5n to the power of 3 plus, well, actually minus, we'll do the 2 first. So minus 2n squared plus 5n squared minus 2n. All right. And in case you've been confused in the previous ones, I'm not changing the value. I haven't done anything. All I did was take that 3 apart, because if you look at the negative 2n squared plus 5n squared equals that 3n squared. So this right here, this expression has the same value as the expression above. Okay. All right, let's continue. Now, we're going to do here our 5n. Well, I was going to skip a step. Let's just do this. 2n squared, and then plus 5n squared minus 2n. So this is what we have now. So let's go ahead and factor the first one. If you look at, we have n to the power of 3 and n to the power of 2. So I can take at least 2 n's out of it when I factor it out. And actually, there's no other number other than 1. So all I'm going to factor out is that that n squared. N squared. And inside will be 5n minus 2. No n on that 2, because remember I took two of those n's out. plus, now here, well, we can just pull out a 1 on this one, 1n in that case. So n, and what we're left with in behind is 5n minus 2. Once again, if you look, 5n minus 2, 5n minus 2. Okay, so I know I'm on the right track. Here, well, actually, let me scroll this up a bit. Here what we have is, okay, hello, n, oh yeah, the outside ones, n squared, sorry, lost my train of thought there, plus n, and then times 5n minus 2. At this point, I really have to factor this out, this n squared and n. So really, I'm going to pull out 1n. Now pay attention here when I pull out this n, because I'm pulling out 1n from here, leaving 1n behind. When I pull this n out, it leaves a 1 behind. So therefore, my final answer here would be n times n plus 1 times 5n minus 2. Okay? So that's what our final answer here would be. If you didn't understand any of these steps, remember, you can always rewind, play it as many times as you like. Take notes is what I highly recommend anytime you're watching one of these videos, so that you can try to work them out step by step and really get a full understanding for these. All right, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this instructional video. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.